Welcome to How to Integrate Sources, a video brought to you by the English Department's Writing Center at the British University in Egypt. It is important to integrate sources into your writing for a number of reasons. The first is to provide evidence to support your argument. Secondly, it shows that you have made an effort to understand the topic and are utilizing all of the sources available to you. Integrating sources allows the reader of your paper to find the information you have used. Also, making an effort to properly integrate sources will reflect in your grades. Finally, sources need to be integrated and cited properly to avoid plagiarism. Summarizing, paraphrasing, and quoting skills are essential in academic writing. Whether you are doing an assignment for your English class or your own faculty, the ability to correctly summarize, paraphrase, and directly quote is necessary to avoid plagiarism. In terms of avoiding plagiarism, you must also place a citation or a reference at the end of your paraphrase to acknowledge where you got the information from. Let's begin with summarizing. Depending on the task, you will read many sources and select particular areas that need to be integrated into your assignment. You need to then write a shorter version of the selected text, which will focus on the most important details. You will also be expected to paraphrase the original words, which we will get to shortly. Remember, when you summarize, it is your job to inform the reader of the important elements of the original text. When writing a summary, imagine the reader of your summary has never read the original source. It is also not your job to provide any extra information. When looking at sources, it is important to read for a purpose. When you begin to look at a text, consider what it is that you are looking for. Pay careful attention to your assignment question and consider how the text you have will help you find the answer. For this presentation, we will consider the question, how has traditional engineering education changed in America? You may consider utilizing the now approach when summarizing, which includes noting down the key points, organizing these points, and writing the summary. Remember, all of your writing must be paraphrased. That means in your own words. Step 1, note down the key points. Here is an original text about engineering. When reading it, you should cross out the extra details, noting only the key points that will help you answer the question. Remember, the question is, how has traditional engineering education changed in America? Pause the video here if you need more time to read the text. Here we have bolded the key points in the text. Step 2, organize the points that you have noted. Let's remember the key points that we bolded in the previous screen. To organize them, we can keep in mind what sort of information each note is comprised of. For example, one note should contain the author's position, while others may contain evidence or concluding statements. The final step is to write your summary in your own words. Remember, summarizing includes paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is the process of changing the words from the original text in a way that maintains the same information or message, yet does not contain the same vocabulary or structure. You must also put an in-text citation at the end of your paraphrase to indicate where the information came from. Now that you understand paraphrasing, you can begin to write your summary. When writing, place your summary in a frame that includes the name of the article, the author's name, an in-text citation, followed by a reporting verb. This phrase will introduce the main idea or argument in the text. For example, at the beginning of our summary, we can write, in his article, Changes in Education, the Cost of Sacrificing Fundamentals, Frankel, 2008, argues that. Our next task is to explain exactly what the author argues. That is, what his position is. To do this, we must paraphrase. Remember, this means to use our own sentence structure and vocabulary. Here, we have switched the sentence order and found synonyms. Here we have put it all together and we have the beginning of a paraphrased summary. The rest of your paraphrase summary could include the rest of the details and look something like this. Note that this summary is 94 out of 174 words. Thus, it is approximately half of the original text. Depending on how you will utilize your source, you may only wish to write a main point summary, which would include less details, only focus on the author's name, the title of the article, the in-text citation, and the author's position. This summary is 56 out of 174 words. It is approximately 1/3 of the original text. If you struggle paraphrasing, it is most important to remember that you must rewrite the text not only with different words, but also with a different structure. This cannot be achieved simply by looking for synonyms. This attempt at writing a paraphrase is unsuccessful, as the only used synonyms. It is not actually in the writer's own words and ultimately doesn't even make sense. Finally, when integrating sources, sometimes you must keep some of the words as direct quotations. Direct quotations are any time you take the exact words of another author and place them in quotation marks. It is important to remember to use direct quotations sparingly and effectively. You should only use quotations when you want to define a term or a theory, when the language is especially effective or striking, such as specific terms or expressions used by the writer, and when information is technical and expertise is new. This could include the reporting of statistics. Remember to only use direct quotations occasionally. From the original text that we looked at earlier, which sentence do you think would be appropriately directly quoted? This could be an appropriate direct quotation because it includes specific details about statistics. It is important to keep in mind that there are several rules for utilizing and formatting direct quotes into your writing. Thus, it is important that you follow up with your instructor on how to integrate them effectively into your paper. Some extra points to keep in mind include never using back-to-back quotations and utilizing a lead-in phrase that refers to the author. Now that you have watched this video, here are some websites with further explanation and some activities to test your knowledge. Thank you for watching. Please do not hesitate to contact the BUE Writing Center for further help.